During a routine patrol in the city's shopping district, I witnessed a scene I'll never forget, one that still makes my heart ache just thinking about that day. In a secluded corner of a parking lot, I spotted a little boy, no more than 5 years old, huddled against the cold concrete wall of an empty garage. My heart tightened in my chest. What was such a young child doing alone at this hour? My heart races. I've responded to countless emergency calls, rescued people from buildings, but nothing prepared me for the sight of that scared, lonely child. I approach slowly, trying not to frighten him any further. "Hey, little one," I say softly, my voice barely a whisper. "It's okay. I'm Jessica. I'm a firefighter. Can I come closer?" His big, frightened eyes meet mine. Tears glisten on his cheeks in the dim light of the parking lot. He nods almost imperceptibly. I kneel beside him, feeling the cold asphalt through my uniform. "What's your name?" "I'm Mason." He stammers through sobs. "I'm Mason," I repeat, letting the name roll off my tongue. "That's a beautiful name. What are you doing out here alone, Mason?" "Where are your parents?" He lowers his head, his small shoulders shaking with a fresh wave of tears. "Mommy doesn't love me anymore," he whispers, his voice so low I can barely hear him. It feels like a punch to the gut. His words bring back memories I had buried deep, deep down. Suddenly, it's not 2024 in New York anymore. I'm 6 years old, alone in an empty playground, convinced my mom had abandoned me. I swallow hard, forcing myself to stay in the present. Mason needs me now. "Why do you think that, sweetheart?" He looks up at me, and the pain in his eyes is almost too much to bear. I heard her on the phone. She said sometimes she wishes she was never a mom. My heart breaks for him. I want to hug him, to protect him from all the pain in the world. But I know I need to be careful. "Mason, sometimes adults say things they don't really mean, especially when they're tired or upset. I'm sure your mom loves you very much and is probably really worried right now." He looks at me, a flicker of hope in his tear-filled eyes. "You think so?" "I'm sure," I reply, silently praying that I'm right. "Now, how about we get out of here? It's cold, and you must be hungry." He nods timidly, and when I extend my hand, he takes it without hesitation. His touch is ice cold, and I promise myself that I'll do everything I can to help this lost little boy. As I lead him back to the truck, I can't help but think about how a simple night patrol turned into something much bigger. Something tells me this night will change our lives forever. The doorbell softly jingles as we walk into the 24-hour diner. The smell of freshly brewed coffee and warm toast fills the air, making my stomach growl. But I'm not here for myself. I glance at Mason, his little hand still firmly gripping mine, his wide eyes scanning the place. "Let's sit over there," I say gently, pointing to a booth in the corner. It's more private and cozy. Mason nods, following me silently. As we settle in, a middle-aged waitress approaches, her name tag identifying her as Doris. "What can I get you?" she asks, her curious gaze shifting between me, odd in my firefighter uniform, and Mason, clearly out of place. "Could you bring a grilled cheese sandwich and a big glass of warm milk for my little buddy here? And a black coffee for me, please." Doris smiles understandingly and steps away to put in the order. I turn my attention back to Mason, who looks small and vulnerable against the red vinyl seat. "So, Mason," I start softly, "you must be really hungry, huh?" He nods, his eyes fixed on the table. That's when I notice the dark stains on his small hands and face. My heart tightens with the realization. "Mason, I need to ask you something, and I want you to be honest with me, okay? Did you eat anything from the trash?" His eyes fill with tears again, and he nods. I feel my stomach churn, not from disgust, but from a deep, familiar pain. "It's okay, sweetie." "You didn't do anything wrong," I say, struggling to keep my voice steady. Memories flood my mind like a torrent. Cold nights in Chicago, rummaging through garbage cans for scraps of food. The bitter taste of hunger mixed with shame. I swallow hard, forcing myself back to the present. Our order arrives, and Mason's eyes light up when he sees the sandwich. He starts eating ravenously, and I have to hold back tears. "Hey, slow down, champ. The food's not going anywhere," I tease gently. He slows his pace, a small smile appearing on his face for the first time. How about you tell me about the things you like? I ask, trying to distract him and get to know him better. I like dinosaurs, he murmurs between bites. The T-Rex is my favorite. Wow, dinosaurs are amazing. What's your favorite thing about them? His eyes light up. They're big and strong. Nobody messes with them. The innocence in his voice hits me hard. He's just a little guy looking for strength in a world that's made him feel small and powerless. You know what else I like? He continues, his voice a bit brighter. Playing hide and seek with Mommy. When she's not tired. Something in the way he says this makes me want to know more. Mason, why do you think your mom doesn't love you? I ask gently. He stops eating, nervously fiddling with the napkin. I heard her on the phone, he whispers. She said that sometimes she wished she'd never been a mom. My heart breaks for him, but also for his mom. How many times have we said things in the heat of the moment, words that hurt us more than anyone else? Mason, sometimes adults say things they don't really mean, especially when they're tired or upset, I explain. That doesn't mean she doesn't love you. But why would she say that if she didn't mean it? His eyes search mine, pleading for an answer I'm not sure I can give. I sigh, searching for the right words. It's complicated, sweetheart. Sometimes we get frustrated and say things without thinking. But that doesn't mean they're true. I'm sure your mom loves you very much, even when she's tired or upset. He seems to ponder my words, slowly going back to eating his sandwich. The silence that follows is broken by the crackle of my radio. My heart races as I hear the message. Mason's mom has been located. She's on her way to the station. I look at the boy in front of me, so small and vulnerable. How can I prepare him for what's coming? Mason, I have some news for you, I say softly. We found your mom. She's coming to get you. His eyes widen, a mix of relief and fear crossing them. At that moment, I promise myself that I will do everything I can to make sure this story has a happy ending. For Mason, for his mom, and somehow, for that scared little girl I used to be. The drive to the police station is silent. Mason sits beside me in the fire truck, his eyes fixed on the window, watching the city lights blur by. His small fingers nervously play with the seatbelt. Are you okay? I ask gently, breaking the silence. He just shrugs, not taking his eyes off the window. My heart aches. How can I help him understand what's happening? You know, Mason, I start, keeping my eyes on the road. When I was about your age, I thought my mom didn't love me either. This catches his attention. He turns to me, his big eyes filled with curiosity. Really? Yes, I reply, swallowing the lump in my throat. She worked a lot, and sometimes didn't have time to play. I felt alone. And what happened? He asks, his voice almost a whisper. I close my eyes for a moment, remembering the pain of loss. She passed away before I could understand everything. But now I know she loved me more than anything in the world. The silence fills the truck again, but this time it's different. I can almost hear the gears turning in Mason's head. Do you think my mom loves me like that? He finally asks, his voice so low I can barely hear him. I'm sure she does, I reply, praying that I'm right. We arrive at the police station and I help Mason out of the truck. His small hands cling to mine as we climb the steps. I can feel his trembling and my protective instinct kicks in. It's okay, Mason, I whisper. I'm here with you. We enter the building, and I immediately feel the heavy air of anticipation. Officers glance at us with curiosity, some smiling kindly at Mason. We head to a waiting room, and that's when I see her. Mason's mom is standing in the middle of the room, her eyes red and swollen from crying. The moment she sees us, she lets out a sob of relief that echoes through the room. Mason, she cries, running toward us. What happens next completely surprises me. Mason lets go of my hand and runs to his mom. They collide in an embrace so tight, so full of love, that I feel my own eyes well up with tears. I'm sorry, Mommy, Mason sobs against her chest. I didn't want to make you sad. She holds him tighter, her tears falling onto his hair. No, my love, I'm the one who's sorry. I love you more than anything in this world. Never doubt that. I stand there, watching, feeling a mix of joy and a pang of envy. It's the kind of reconciliation I never had the chance to have with my own mom. Silent tears slide down my face, and I quickly wipe them away. Mason's mom looks at me over her son's head, her eyes overflowing with gratitude. "I don't know how to thank you for taking care of my son," she says, her voice choked with emotion. "You don't need to thank me," I reply, my own voice faltering. "Just remember that every moment with him is precious." She nods, understanding the weight behind my words. Mason turns to me, still in his mom's arms. "Jessica," he says, his voice serious, "thank you for helping me understand." I smile through my tears, crouching to be at his level. "I understand what, Mason?" "That sometimes people say things they don't really mean when they're tired. Like you said." My heart warms with a feeling I haven't felt in years. "You're a very smart boy, Mason." As I watch them leave, hand in hand and hearts reconnected, I realize something. Maybe I didn't get the chance to reconcile with my own mom, but helping Mason and his mom reunite. Somehow, that healed a part of me I didn't even know was still hurting. The clock on the wall of the precinct reads 3:15 a.m. as I finally finish filling out the reports about the incident with Mason. My eyes burn with exhaustion, but my mind is far from ready to rest. The images of last night replay like a movie on loop. The scared boy in the parking lot, the emotional reunion with his mother, the gratitude in their eyes. "Thanks, Jessica," says Sergeant Johnson, taking the papers from my hand. "You did a great job today." I force a tired smile. "I just did my job, sir." He shakes his head, his wrinkled face softening. "No, you did a lot more than that. You brought a family back together." His words hit me with an unexpected force, and I feel my eyes well up with tears. I blink quickly, trying to push them away. "Are you okay?" Johnson asks, concern evident in his voice. "Yes, I'm just tired." I lie, not wanting to reveal the whirlwind of emotions I'm feeling. "Go home, Jessica, get some rest." I nod, grateful for the dismissal. As I head to the locker room to change out of my uniform, my thoughts drift to Mason and his mom. I hope they're doing okay, that they managed to sleep after all the commotion. In the locker room, I open my locker and something falls to the floor. I bend down to pick it up and my heart almost stops. It's an old, yellowed photo. In it, a younger version of me smiles next to my mom. I'd forgotten I had kept this photo here. I sit on the wooden bench, the photo trembling in my hands. The memories I've tried so hard to suppress start to resurface. "Mom," I whisper to the smiling image, "why did you have to leave so soon?" The tears I've been holding back all night finally begin to fall. I remember the day this photo was taken. It was my 7th birthday, a few months before the accident that took my mom. She had taken the day off work, something rare, and took me to the zoo. I remember how she laughed when the elephant sprayed water on us, how her eyes sparkled as she watched me feed the giraffes. It was a perfect day, I think, running my finger over her face in the photo. If I'd known it would be one of the last... The sound of footsteps pulls me from my thoughts. I quickly wipe away my tears and put the photo back in the locker. "Jessica." I hear my colleague, Sarah, calling, "Are you still here?" "Yes, I'm coming," I reply, trying to keep my voice steady. I change quickly and step out of the locker room. Sarah is out there, her face showing concern. "Hey, are you okay?" "I heard about what happened with that little boy." "I'm fine," I reply automatically. But something in Sarah's expression makes me stop. She's not just asking out of courtesy. She really cares. Actually, I admit I'm not doing so well. Sarah puts a hand on my shoulder. "Do you want to talk about it?" For a moment, I consider declining. I have a habit of keeping everything to myself. But something in Sarah's kindness, combined with the emotions of the night, breaks down my defenses. "Yes, I'd like that," I reply softly. We end up at a 24-hour coffee shop near the precinct. With a steaming cup of coffee in hand, I tell Sarah about Mason, how finding him made me think about my own childhood, about losing my mom. "It must have been hard," Sarah says gently when I finish. "Dealing with all of that alone?" I nod, feeling a lump in my throat. It's always been like this, me dealing with everything alone. "You don't have to do that anymore, you know?" Sarah says, her voice full of compassion. "You have friends here, Jessica. You have me." Her words hit me hard, and I feel the tears coming back. but this time I don't fight them. I let them fall, feeling as though a weight is being lifted from my shoulders. "Thank you, Sarah," I whisper. As the sun begins to rise outside, I realize that tonight wasn't just about helping Mason reconnect with his mom. It was about reconnecting with my own past, with my own emotions, and maybe, just maybe, learning to let others in. I leave the coffee shop feeling exhausted but somehow lighter. The day is just beginning in New York, the streets slowly coming to life. I look up at the sky, the last traces of stars fading into the dawn. "Mom," I think, "I hope you're proud of me." And for the first time in a long time, I feel like maybe, somewhere, she's smiling down at me. As I drive back home that night, the lights of New York City shine like fallen stars around me. My thoughts wander to Mason, to Sophia, and to the unexpected journey that brought us together. Life is made of moments, I think. Moments that challenge us, that break us, but also moments that heal us and make us whole again. Sometimes, it's the most unlikely encounters that have the power to change everything. Finding Mason on that cold night wasn't just about rescuing a lost little boy. It was about rediscovering parts of myself that I had buried long ago. It was about learning that sometimes, by helping others heal their wounds, we heal our own. I realize now that love, like courage, is not the absence of fear or pain. It's the willingness to face them, to move forward despite them. It's about building bridges where there were once walls, about letting the light in where there was only darkness. And as the city streets pass by me, I feel a peace I haven't felt in years. I know there will be more challenges ahead, more dark nights and moments of doubt, but now I know I don't have to face them alone. Because in the end, it's the connections we make, the lives we touch, that truly matter. They define us. They make us who we are. And who am I? I'm Jessica Winters, firefighter, friend, and now a part of Mason and Sophia's lives. And for the first time in a long time, I'm excited to see what tomorrow will bring. If this story touched your heart as much as it touched mine in telling it, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. Your support means a lot and helps me continue sharing these touching stories with you. Personally, I want to thank each of you for taking the time to listen to the story of Jessica, Tar, Mason, and Sophia. Their journeys of overcoming and connecting are a powerful reminder of the impact we can have on each other's lives. I look forward to seeing you again in our next story. Until then, remember, each of us has the power to make a difference, even in the most unexpected moments. Take care and see you next time.